due this evening. Evening, late afternoon, evening. Yeah, it's evening, isn't it? It's evening. It's 7:20 at night, Buzz. It is evening. Welcome back to the channel. Make sure that you give the video a thumbs up. Now, there's big news when it comes to the Glasgow derby. And there's also big news when it comes to a player that I've just watched get beat by Spain. Spain that had a 16-year-old player in the team. Spain that had a 16-year-old player in the team. I thought that was absolutely unbelievable by Spain. It shows you the levels of standards of football in Spain, and folk that say that the level of football isn't good at Spain. Well, Barcelona have got a 16-year-old kid, and I'm just checking the phone. Turn that down so they get feedback. All's good. Brown Warriors in the house. Yes, Spain had a young Barcelona kid playing this afternoon. Spain played Croatia. Celtic have been linked with the Croatia goalkeeper. We'll talk about him first before we talk about the news that's coming out about the Glasgow derby. Allegedly, there is breaking news that's coming out about the Glasgow derby and safety concerns about the 2,500 away fans that will now be at the derby games. Celtic, there's another story that's kicking about actually, the fact that Celtic have sold O to Genk. People are basically saying, do Celtic already have the Adam Eder situation tied up? So that's another sort of emerging story. But we'll talk about Dominic fucking Croatian #1 goalkeeper as a replacement for Joe Hart. There is a media source that is coming out and saying that Celtic are reigniting a move for the 29-year-old who moved from Dynamo Zagreb last summer for 6.5 million to Fenerbahce. But according to a source in Turkey, Lajkovic, who made 40 appearances in all competitions, is back on Celtic's radar. He is back on Celtic's radar. Now, he has just played a game for Croatia. He has just played a game for Croatia today. And I've got to say, Spain took their foot off the pedal. Spain took their foot off the pedal the second half. They were 3-0 up at half time. We were sitting in a Chinese restaurant, eating our meal, watching the game. And yeah, they're putting a big net up, Chill Pill. Steal my thunder. They're putting a big net up. But yeah, back to Spain. Spain took their foot off the pedal. The fact that Spain has a 16-year-old player, who pretty much, I tell you one thing, hats off to the young lads. The fact that their captain scored the first goal, he came in with an assist, with a cracking cross, the 16-year-old player. And you know that I've been an advocate of bringing in the youth at Celtic. And if they're good enough, doesn't matter what age they are. And I'm totally chuffed to bits for this young lad in Spain. He does play for Barcelona. And the fact that he's getting a game for his national country at 16 years old. You're still walking about with a hard on fucking half the day at 16. You're waking up with a hard on in the morning and you're fucking walking about with it and fucking not knowing what to do with it. Anyway, I'm just reading some of the comments. Right, we'll jump into some of the comments. Apparently his wife didn't want to come to Scotland. Right, let's jump into some of the comments because Chilpill stole the thunder. 16-year-old is going to be an absolute superstar. Yeah, he is. Chilpill is in the house. Brown Warrior was in. Richard Scott is in. Paul Baird. Peter McGinn. Monty. I actually might start using that other. I was trying out another software on the other channel today, and I might use it on this channel because it's a good way of getting the comments to come up on the screen rather than me having to read them out. Because then you can actually see your own comments on the screen, and I quite like the idea of that. It's an old concept that used to be that the YouTubers tried a few years ago, and it kind of fizzled out on live streams. But I think I might bring it back because I think it's quite good on the live streams. I might reincarnate it. Anyway, Chilbill's been talking about the goalkeeper. Apparently, his wife didn't want to come to Scotland, and who really cares is in the house? Kevin Cassidy's in the house. He says, "Hail trips. Hope he's had a good day. I had a fantastic day. Watched a couple of games of football, and now I'm going to go to a fiesta this evening." It's a hard life. It's a hard life. Lanky, there's been the second time that we've been linked to players with Turkey, the Croatian goalkeeper and that defender. Yes, it is. But I'm not too sure about him. We've been linked to him before. We couldn't get him at 6.5 million. Why is he now going to come to us for 9 million? And would they sell? We're going to get linked to everyone, and I think it's just the fact that look, he's a Croatian goalkeeper. He was playing against Spain today. Did he have a good game? Let's face it, Spain are just different level stuff. I mean, the Germans are efficient. When I look at the two games, the two big games for me this weekend so far has obviously been um, I watched a lot on Christian Apologetics channels. Use it as. I need to look at that. Christian Apologetics channel. Use it. Yeah, I might use that. Just to, Brown Warrior, I take it you're on about getting the comments coming up on the screen. You can do it with the software I'm using, but I'm just being lazy and yeah, it might be easier. Right, anyway, back to the big games of the weekend. Obviously, for me, it's been Scotland's game last night. Scotland were absolutely atrocious. Germany were efficient. Scotland made them look good. Germany closed Scotland down quick. You know, they did all the right things. They defended well in numbers. They stopped us playing. They knew what players would be trouble, and they doubled up on them. Spain, on the other hand, are a football nation. Spain are a football nation, and I love the way that Spain plays football, and I love the way that Spain has went through a transition over the last couple of years. Spain's went through a massive transition of bringing in young blood, and having a 16-year-old play for your national team and pretty much be a standout. He is going to be he's going to make the likes of Messi and that look like amateurs in years to come. I mean, he's only 16 and he's running about that stage. And there was one shot he had, I thought he just put it wide, but he kind of miskicked it. But anyway, 16. Certainly knew what to do with a hard on. 70, I forget what it says, James. Scotland was shy. Yeah, we're talking about the 16-year-old and how he run about with a boner, because that's what you do at 16. You just run about with it and just. Actually, there's a funny Jamesy Forrest story talking about whapping out your bobby. I remember James Forrest was on holiday when he was a young lad at Celtic, and he was in a nightclub in Ibiza. I think it was Ibiza. Um, and he just whapped the bobby out in the middle of the dance floor, as you do. I don't know why he did it. But anyway, he did it. And I got told this felt a girl that used to go in the bus that I used to. Anyway, we'll move on for that. I don't know why I told you that. There was no need for it whatsoever. Anyway, Spain were absolutely fantastic. They took their foot off the pedal the second half. They were 3-0 up. I think Croatia had that. They thought they had a goal. And they thought they had a goal, but it was ended up ruled off for whatever means. I couldn't really see when I was sitting in the restaurant. I was enjoying my food far too much. Paul Bale says Scotland will get no points at the Euros. Clark hasn't a clue. I have said, Paul, I said on the other channel today, I think that if Scotland, the aim for Scotland is to get 4 points, which means a win over Hungary and a draw with Switzerland. Now, if Switzerland end up on 4 points, also, because I think Germany will beat every team in that group. And if Switzerland end up on 4 points also, it'll come down to goal difference. And Scotland letting in 5, I can see them finishing third. I think they may get the 4 points required that they're looking for. They may get it. Here's the optimistic Baz thinking. They may get it. They may get the 4 points, but they'll finish third in the group because they'll have conceded more goals. Anyway, we'll get 3 points. Just needed to just beat Hungary. Yeah, that's true. Encroachment. That's what it was. It was encroachment. It was encroachment. Well, I'd say I couldn't see it. I knew that. I thought I seen it go. I seen the goal going in, and then I took another mouthful of food, and I was like, "Is that goal being disallowed?" I couldn't really see the TV, but anyway, it was encroachment. So yeah, it was disallowed. So anyway, right, let's get on to the Glasgow Derby news. There is one of the Celtic blogs have released information today, and an effort to improve safety during the Glasgow Derby. Celtic have applied to Glasgow City Council to install a temporary netting in the away section at Celtic Park. This decision was Celtic's determination to enhance security also to be implemented at Ibrox. The move comes as both clubs prepare to welcome back larger away fans at the traditional Glasgow Derby. Now, we all know that Celtic fans have had bottles lighters, coins. So I hope it's one of those really thin wire mesh nets that nothing at all can get through. But you know, those fucking clowns, they'll end up throwing some pyro at it and burning a big hole in it. You could see that happening all day long. But anyway, it is right next to the family section, the away section, family section that is behind the goals. And that also has the Celtic Foundation put folk in there also. But yes, there is that little family section there. And then there's the section of the main stand. I don't really think they need the netting for the bit at the main stand, but they definitely need it for the section behind the goals. When it comes to safety, it is of paramount importance, especially when we're getting 2,500, or is it going to be 3,000 of that lot into Celtic Park. Celtic are well within their right to make sure that safety netting has been or will be in place. The application was lodged on the 4th of April, reflecting Celtic's proactive approach to fan safety this read. You've probably read the blog anyway. Celtic's decision resonates more in a substantial way with the presence of 2,500 supporters. It necessitates, it's fucking my tongue twisting tonight, like. Total tongue twisting tonight. The introduction of netting at both stadiums is to create a more safer environment and reduce the risk of violence and disorder. In other words, fucking bottles, coins, lighters, and everything getting chucked from the Rangers' end. Let's face it. Let's not butter it up. I hate it when Celtic blogs go down the diplomatic fucking route. We've got the evidence. The evidence is there for us all to see over the last couple of years. We've got the news stories. We've got the people with blood heads and all sorts over the last few years. And it is only right that safety netting is put in place. Safety netting is used in European games for away travelling fans in many, many grounds around Europe. So, it's going to be it's going to be good to get the little bit of atmosphere back. It's not ideal, but 2,500 is better than nothing. It will bring a little bit of atmosphere. And let's face it, there's nothing better than fucking beating them at Celtic Park. The first Glasgow derby of next season will be at Celtic Park. You remember the first Glasgow derby of last season was at Ibrox. So the so-called supercomputer that arranges these things, fucking load of shite. We will make sure that the first Glasgow derby of the season will be held at Celtic Park. How quick into the season? You're probably looking at about September. I'm going to go the first weekend that's in September because there's usually an international break. So it will be played before the international break in September. Anyway, Celtic being linked to the Croatian goalkeeper. We have spoke about that. Spain winning easily, I thought. A lot of things changed in the second half. They made a good few substitutions. They took their foot off the pedal. They were 3-0 up at half time. I think Spain, they just different level. Is the Croatian goalkeeper, the goalkeeper for Celtic? Did he do enough in the game for you? I don't think he did for me. Let's look at the stats of the Spain game. Whilst we're here, stats. Spain had 11 shots on had 11 shots in total. They had 5 on target. Croatia had 16 shots and 5 on target. So they had the same amount of... And actually, Croatia actually had more possession than Spain. And they had more passes. And the pass... That's fucking interesting stats. That must come down to the second half then. Must all come down to the second half because let's face it, the first half, it'll be interesting to see the stats for just the first half alone. Anyway, that puts Spain at the top of the group with 3 points and a goal difference of 3, and it puts Croatia on 1. That's got an interesting group because Italy, you're looking for Spain and Italy to be fighting out that group. That'll be a good game to watch because Spain and Italy don't really like each other. Not really. Trust me. Anyway, let me see what other Celtic news. And there is an interesting one that some of the Celtic sites have been talking about also. The fact that O is now on his way at the door. O that has taken down everything related to Celtic off his Instagram. O's spat the dummy out. O has spat the dummy out. He's taken down every picture of him. I think I posted it earlier on today. He's taken down every picture of himself in a Celtic top, anything to do with Celtic. Who joined under Ange Postecoglou. Did he show any promise? No. Did he show consistency? No. Was he a project player by Ange Postecoglou? Yes. and it looks like he's spat his dummy out. He's getting that move to Genk, which is a fantastic financial piece of business for Celtic. The Huns are saying that it's another one leaving. Well, we're making £3 million profit on the player. I think we're wanting for 2.5, but anyway, we're going to make about £3 million profit on the player. It's a great deal for Celtic, but Celtic would only be selling a striker if they knew that we were on the verge of signing a striker. Who is the striker that Celtic are about to sign? Is the £1,000 million question that Celtic fans all around the world are asking this evening. They are asking that this evening. They are asking that this evening because if Celtic have facilitated this move for O, they would not do it unless they knew they had a replacement almost ready and through the door. So there has to be something that Celtic know that we really don't. There has to be something Celtic that are hiding in the background. They're not going to come out and tell us. Let's face it, Celtic are not going to come out and say, yeah, we know that we're about to sign a player. But it's a fluid situation. I like it when they always say that. They always say it's a fluid situation. It's fluid. It's like water running, like the rain. Anyway, let's jump into some of the comments section and see what you are saying this Saturday evening. God, I've not done a Saturday evening one for ages. I know Gunn should never be a Celtic goalie, says who really cares. The only net that he will hit Dressers through a lighter at Brendan in the box. Almost gave him the Green Brigade. And always pish. Let's not kid ourselves. Making a profit is building a business, says John Watt. Exactly. I've said that O wasn't the answer to Celtic's problems. O wasn't a replacement for Kyogo. He had his chances. He wasn't up to it. You've got to remember, when Celtic brought O over, right, and they sold him as some South Korean fucking poster boy. They were signing it, and this was all the media at the time that Celtic were signing a South Korea poster boy, fucking pretty boy. Well, he's not pretty good at football, put it that way. Ida and Mavovsky are coming in, says something today. Tommy Conway, is that the answer? Tommy Conway? Surely he's not coming in as a striker. He's a midfield player. Chilpel used to say, I used to vouch for Gunn, but dearie me, that's right, Chilpel. That's right. You were one of the ones. You've just brought back lots of comment memories. You did used to vouch for Gunn, and fair play to you. No way would I want him at Celtic. He is pish. Brown Warrior says the Celtic board are fitting a jet wash and a foot wash system in the stairwell that contains the spread the cough. Shut up, Brown Warrior. To stop the spread of Sev COVID next season. Oh man, Sev COVID. Oh Jesus. So Greece, Scotland, and Croatia, number one goalkeepers are not good enough for Celtic. Yet the one who couldn't get it for Burley, treat like a king. Talk about entitled opinions. I don't think I've ever said that. You really, Doc 67. You really think that the Scotland goalkeeper's the number one for Celtic? Come on. And I never said that the Croatian guy wasn't good enough for Celtic. I'm only asking because he's been linked with us. And it's funny how that the mainstream media bring out a story saying that we're now going to pay £9 million for him a year after he's just moved when he's playing for Spain today. It's all about clickbait headlines, mate. It's all about clickbait headlines, the mainstream media. 10 million for Tav, they say. Not a fucking chance. Oh, missed some big sitters. He did that. I agree, Tommy Conway is the striker. If Tommy Conway is the striker, it's another... Fuck's sake, seriously? If he's going to be our striker, we're fucked. If we're going to go into Europe, and really? Fuck me. Scott Bain's going to be our number one this season unless we burst the bank. Brown Warrior says the Danish keeper looks better, a better option. No, I've not seen the Danish keeper play yet. Once I do, I'll give you my opinion on that. When are we just going to see Big Joe Hart on the panel at the Euros? Probably tomorrow evening with the England game. Gemma, good evening, and how are you? Lanky, young Toby won't be leaving this transfer. Brendan's keeping him to give him game time. Yep. I think young Toby should be the third choice goalkeeper. It's as simple as that. I've said it before. I said, young Toby, he's been put out there. He should be our third choice goalkeeper. Paul Emery's just walked into the house, and there's been 216 people on the live currently, but there's been a lot more watched because in total there's been over 1,600 views of the video so far. Been over 609. Well, there you go. It's just jumped up, and it is boiling, absolutely boiling. Right, let me see what other Celtic news are kicking around this evening. Probably not a lot. Leicester City, Tottenham Hotspur, Celtic men among the front runners to join Leeds United. Leeds United again. This will be the Matt O'Reilly story reappearing. Oh no, it's not. 72. Oh, fuck off. Adverts. Uh, Roan. Now there's odds on for Leeds United to sign Matt O'Reilly this summer, and the odds on Matt O'Reilly going to Leeds are 8-1. Leeds reportedly lose the bid for Celtic midfield player. Well, we know that the lodged 10 million bid. The West Yorkshire side did not materialise. His stock has grown further in the last 12 months, and it wouldn't surprise if there was interest in the former Fulham man. That's the Yorkshire Post. They're just fucking putting it. People that think that Leeds might take. You don't actually realise how big a club Leeds is. Do you know that Leeds is one of the teams that Leeds have actually sold more merchandise last season than Celtic did, which is unbelievable. And I'm talking a good bit of money more. It's about 60 million that they sold, where Celtic only sold around about 30 million, 32 million in merchandise. Anyway, any word of a left back yet? Not a chance. Only 50 likes. Make sure that you give the video a thumbs up. There's been over 600, 700 people have jumped onto the video. Matt isn't going to Leeds for fuck's sake. Yeah, we know that, Chill Pill. It's just a Leeds paper is talking about the possibility of him. There's currently 200 and there's 65 likes. So make sure you give the video a thumbs up and make sure that we try and get as many likes as possible and comment and share. I believe in an unknown love. I'm going to get that song. I'm going to get that song. I'm going to say share. I believe. Oh, silly season. Right, I'm not staying on for much longer because I am going out this evening. Again, who is the scouting players? Christopher. I have no idea. I think Brendan's doing it himself. I think that's why Brendan met up with Scott Brown in Mallorca and the ex-Liverpool manager. That's probably who's scouting for him just now. What players do you think are good? Martin Kenneth says, imagine a player choosing second division football over the mighty Rangers. Well, there's plenty of players have left Celtic for second division football, so I'm not going to have a giggle about that one. But yeah, De Gea is available, a great keeper. Past it, too old. Please not Gun, says Joseph Murphy. John Watt says Gunn totally chucked it after the first goal. Look, Angus Gunn, he's not playing at a level that I think that Celtic require on a weekly basis. He's played, and people will say, look, that division's better than the Scottish SPFL. Well, that's all a matter of opinion. But when it comes to then coming across players when you're going into the Champions League, you've got to be a top level goalkeeper. We want a goalkeeper that has had some European experience. And I don't mean just for the national team. I mean that's played in European competitions. Because if we really want to progress this season coming, we really need a player that has played some kind of European football and has a bit of stature within the game in the respect of the players. Anyway, there's been over 700 views and there is only 73 thumbs up. And we've been on for 23 minutes. You've got 7 minutes left before I get ready for the Fiesta tonight. Leicester City have done that one. Celtic have done that one. Done that one. On the Croatia game. Croatian national team. Actually, where's that Croatia team again? Where was young Croatian boy that played for Celtic? Juranovic. It was Juranovic. And I thought that. Juranovic wasn't playing. Joseph Juranovic. He was on the bench. There we go. On the bench. There we go. Anyway, let's get some of the comments in before if Matt isn't going to lead for fuck's sake. Yep, we know that one. Paul Emery, hail Jeff. Evening on says Richard. Christopher says we don't get what we want. And we don't want another 30 plus age keeper. We need a younger one. Yeah. Who's head of recruitment? Peter Lowell. Did he hold your breath? Please hit the like button. Peeps says Richard. Young keepers are a big risk. Usually. T-Bone. Did you watch the Spain game today? There was a 16-year-old outfield player. I know you're talking about goalkeepers, but there was a 16-year-old outfield player that you would never have thought he was 16. You would never have thought he was 16. And if it weren't for the fact that he kind of kicked the ball when he was in the box, I thought he might have scored. And he actually had an assist with a fantastic cross. So age, when it comes to it, and I have banged on about this, that Celtic, if the youth system it's set up is done right, and the youth players are coming through the system, why aren't they given a chance? The fact that Spain are doing the right thing. Spain over the last couple of seasons have went through a bit of a transition, getting out all the old guard, all the old guard that were they've done fantastically well for Spain over the years, and they decided to go down a youth policy system to make sure that they, in a few years' time, will be one of the world forces again. And I mean it in a world sense, not just a European sense. I think in the next few years, when all these young guys that are coming through in the Spanish team, and a 16-year-old player, he looked to business. And you can imagine him when he's about 24. He's going to run riot. He's going to run riot. Anyway, Foster was young when Celtic signed him. Yeah, but he's not young now. 36 million to spend on how many players? Chris asks Jeff Ray. Baz, the WWE is on in Glasgow tonight. Well, what's the bet the Hun wrestler will win? It has to be scripted for the Buns to win. I don't care. The fuck do I care about fucking anything to do with Rangers? What does everyone think about Bosun Lowell? Looked good in YouTube vids. Can't keep trying to play McGregor as a 6. I think that you know my thought. I'm totally sweating, boiling. Man needs to get turned up a bit. Yeah, young Bosun Lowell. He was a bit of a tank. It'll be interesting if Celtic, if the manager's got a set of skills to weigh up. He needs to bring in success in the league. He needs to bring in players. Would Celtic... Right, here's a question for you. If Celtic were to turn around at the beginning of the season and you've got minutes left, I've not even got enough time for this. We'll do this live tomorrow. This is a question for you for tomorrow evening. If Celtic... we'll go live just after the game tomorrow night. Before the England game. We'll go a bit live at the same time tomorrow. And the question for you tomorrow night is, if Celtic were to change the way that they're bringing in players, never mind bringing in project players, but implementing 3 or 4 players from the youth system, and they were to put them in as first team players, would we find that acceptable? If we started losing games, no, it wouldn't be, because it wouldn't be. So the manager has to have a balance in that. He has to bring in a level of experience to make sure that he has the capability to win the league, for starters, to win the treble, because that's what they'll set out. Brendan Rodgers did this when he was at Celtic the first time, and he'll do it this time again. When it gets to pre-season, they'll sit down the first day of pre-season, when they're all getting their fitness test done. Got to remember, when they come back after pre-season, they'll get fitness tests. So when they're going through their fitness test, they'll have a wee team meeting, and they'll set out their objectives. Their objectives for the season coming ahead. They'll set out that they want to potentially win the treble. They'll set out a goal tally that they want to score, and they'll set out a points tally. And they'll want that points tally to be better than last season. And then they'll also say, what they want to achieve in Europe and what they think they can realistically achieve. And although it has changed, it's going to be a case of, well, let's see if we can win 4 games. Say that's the objective. Say the objective in the Champions League this season is to win 4 games. You know, if we're playing 10 games altogether, they have to have some kind of objective. And if they turn around and say, right, win 4 games, the manager can't bring in a lot of these younger players that have been out on loan, Poston Lawwell and likes of such, because they're not going to be able to do that at that high level. We need a big squad that's going to be able to fight on all fronts, that is going to be able to fight on all fronts, be it Europe and the league and the cups. Because you've got to remember, last year, it all came far too early for Brendan and the boys. We had far too many injuries, and we got put out the League Cup by Kilmarnock very early on in the season. It was only about two games, was it, into the season? 2 or 3 games into the season when we got put out the cup. And that knocked one of our objectives on the head. Richard Smith says we'll win the league by 20 points. I think that they'll put a goal tally of 100, a goal tally points of 100. I think they won't look at it as winning by gap. They won't be bothered about how big the gap is. The Celtic players, they'll not worry about that. They'll know that their objective, if they reach 100 points, they should have won the league. As simple as that. If we get 100 points, we'll win the league. And I think that's the way they look at it. Jeffrey says, and Brendan, we trust to get the right players. Yep, I think we'll do. Richard Smith says, we should be targeting the treble next year. It's a fine balancing act, says Colin. Check the Albania fans out, mental. Everyone talking about the cringe Scots fans being brilliant. They were silent for 90 minutes. Albania, Switzerland, Croatia fans have all been better. And then, well, there you go. Anyway, right, that has been done and dusted for this evening. I will be back with a Celtic news bulletin first thing tomorrow morning. This is the Celtic channel that does not do walking away, that does not do holidays, that does not do Saturdays or Sundays, that just does Celtic. And that's it, because it's YouTube. You know, it's not a job, it's a YouTube. And when you treat this like a job, you deserve to get the results of treating it like a job. This isn't a job to me. This is life. Anyway, on that note, have an absolutely fantastic evening, Celtic fans, all around the world.